Okay, so today we're going to talk about for sale by owner and expired listings. And for me, this is one of the easiest ways to kind of go after potential listings. Maybe not listings that you at the first get go have the exclusive on, but oftentimes ones where we can actually get the right to advertise the listing and to potentially, bring buyers and bring people in to see the property. So, the first question I think is why should we prospect for sellers, right? And prospecting for sellers can be one of the more advanced ways of going after real estate. Oftentimes when we start in the business, we go after landlords, we go after rentals, maybe we work with buyers and things like that. But in a market like we're in now, where the listing inventory is pretty low and things are going pretty quickly, having the listing means that you're going to get the deal done. And so it's really something to focus on. Listings allow you to get contact from potential clients and customers, and really helps you to find additional buyers. It helps you to establish your name in the area, be it, in a building, in a neighborhood. Again, once you sell one property in a building, you're likely to get more. We have many, many instances where someone gets one listing, they do a great job, they sell it for a good price, and the neighbors actually contact them directly, right? You always want to reach out to neighbors as well, letting them know what you've done in their building, but it's a way that you can kind of start getting more leads. You can get on the Street Easy program and get leads from certain buildings that you've sold in before in certain neighborhoods as well. And having a listing also allows you to have multiple points of contact with people in a neighborhood, in a building, on a street, whatever it is, right? Just listed, right? When you get a listing, you want to let everyone know you have it. When you go into contract, you want to let everyone know. When you sell it, you want to let everyone know. And it also allows you, in case someone comes to the listing that you have, and maybe this property doesn't work for, you can reach out to them and say, I have a buyer, right? It's a great way to actually reach out to people. And one of the things, and I was talking to a few of the agents about this recently, that differentiates a good real estate agent from a great one is taking advantage of every opportunity, right? Many times people will get a sale listing, they take it, they put it up, they just sit there and wait for people to call them, right? That listing gives you so many reasons and so many opportunities to reach out to people directly, right? To be an active agent, right? One who searches for buyers, one who searches for other properties. And having that sale listing makes it that much easier. So for sale by owner, FSBO, FSBO, whatever you want to call it, it's when an owner of a property thinks that they have the ability to sell the property on their own, right? And one of the most important things to remember is that when we go in and when we approach a for sale by owner, the last thing that we want to do is go in and ask for the exclusive off the bat. What we want to do is we want to build a relationship with the potential seller, and to build out trust and confidence in you, and to provide services, tools, small little things to these sellers, to start building up that relationship. A couple tips on this. Most for sale by owners will actually list with an agent eventually, right? Many people think they can sell it on their own, and they actually aren't able to or can't. For sale by owners, on average nationally, will sell for 13% less than homes that are listed with a broker, right? And so even if you factor in a 6% commission in there, they're still leaving money on the table, about 7%. You have to keep going after it, right? This is not something that you're just going to get by calling someone and they're going to list with you, right? It takes 8 to 10 contacts on average to get a positive response. And you can't give up after talking to someone once or twice, right? It's easiest to approach these owners if the property has been on the market for some time. And it's even easier to really start building that relationship if they're offering compensation to a buyer's agent, right? Many times people will put in the listing, or if you ask them, if it's listed by owner, they will say, hey, I'm offering, 2.5%, 3%, whatever it is, to the buyer's agent, right? And that off the bat and knowing that allows you to do certain things for them, knowing that if you bring about a buyer, you'll get paid. So where do you find for sale by owner listings, right? They are on many of the major real estate websites like Street Easy, Zillow, and Trulia, right? Owners are able to list either for a fee or for free on some of these websites. There's a website, fsbo.com, forsalebyowners.com, which has a number of for sale by owner listings. They were often in classified sections in the New York Times, especially. You can find them in signs in the neighborhood, right? People will put stuff in the window of the apartment. You can find stuff where people are actually putting up a sign. So, walking on the street in the target neighborhoods you're working on does help. And they also appear sometimes in other syndication platforms, Craigslist, Google Marketplace, wherever it is, right? So you just really have to kind of look out there and find where you're going to be kind of targeting to find these for sale by owner listings. So again, as I mentioned at the beginning, it's all about building a relationship, right? And the first thing that you want to do is get in front of the person. And so what I recommend doing is calling and asking if you can see the property, right? If you have a client who's looking for that property type in that neighborhood, great, bring the client. Or ask if you can preview, right? And previewing is you as an agent saying that I always like to know of everything for sale in the neighborhood. Don't ever go in and say, oh, I have a client, and bring a friend, a family member, someone who's actually not looking, right? No relationship can be built and be successful if it's based on misinformation. One thing you can say is, I always like to know of everything for sale in the neighborhood, right? Especially if you're working in a certain neighborhood, Maria, maybe in Queens, Anthony, somewhere in Brooklyn, wherever it is, right? It's a great in saying, I like to know what's for sale and I always have buyers looking. If they don't want to show just you, they say, hey, contact me if you have a client or something like that. What you could say is, you know what? I understand if you don't want to go out for just me. Are you doing any showings this week? I'm happy to come 10 minutes after, the other one ends, or right after the other one ends, and piggyback on that other showing. Worst case, ask them if they're hosting an open house this week, right? And if they are, say, great, I'd love to stop by if that's okay. 9 times out of 10, they're going to be okay with you stopping by. So the second step is to build a relationship, right? You've seen the property. Discuss the property with them when you're in person with them, right? Ask them how they priced it, right? What did you use as comps? How long has it been on the market? What you can also do is start to offer what we would consider items of value, right? We can offer things to sellers that they might not have access to themselves to help show them that you want to help them sell it on their own, right? People are going to be like, why do you want to do this, right? All that I ask is that you recommend me to friends and family if they're looking to buy or sell, right? I want to help you sell this on your own, right? You don't want to list with the broker? I'm okay with that, but I can help you. As an agent, I can help you in many ways, right? The first thing that you want to do is look at their photos, look at their marketing material, and help them improve upon it, right? Many times for sale by owners will take their own photos, and we have access to professional photographies at a very low price. We can get floor plans and photos done from the photographer that you use, or from Photo Habitats or something like that, for virtually nothing, right? 150 bucks, 175 bucks, whatever it is. And you can offer this to the seller, right? I want to help you sell this. Here you go. And they're going to say, well, why are you doing this for me? And the response to that is that, again, I want you to refer me anyone that looking to buy or sell. And I want you to help sell this faster. And I think good photos will help do that more quickly. Again, what you can also do is you can get them to give you the ability to make show sheets for them, right? If you have photos done, you can go into the design center and you can order professional show sheets for like 60 bucks for like 50 of them. And you can give it to them and say, you know what, whenever anyone walks through the door, give them this. It's going to show your property in amazing light. And it has my contact information, right? Just in case they're looking for a broker, right? If you could spend, 150 bucks for photos and $60 for show sheets and get a buyer that might work with you, would you do that, right? Would you pay $220 for a potential buyer lead? I think most of us would, right? And so if you think about this as making an investment, right, you gain some things out of it, right? A, you're building that relationship with the potential seller. B, you're potentially getting direct clients. C, have photos that you can use for your marketing, right? When the people come to take photos of the building or the apartment, have them take a couple neighborhood shots, right? You can use those in your marketing. And now you own all these photos, so you can market with it, right? And so it really is pretty insignificant investment for potential return. The next, yep.
I have a quick question. Would you offer the same items of value to a potential listing for a rental property?
You definitely can. Again, the return is potentially higher for a sale, but I think it's definitely worth it, right? Maybe it's a landlord who owns a couple buildings. If you show them, and this is really about building that relationship, right? If you show them the service that you would provide if they were a client, and the fact that you're willing to provide this even though they're not, oftentimes they're like, wow, no one else offered this. 10 people came through the door and said, I want the exclusive. You just gave me photos, right? They're going to think more highly of you than they might of someone else who came through the door.
Yeah.
You can also offer to have Doug, and especially if you've already done the professional photos, make the mortgage affordability sheets, right? That's a great thing because many times, and when you're talking to the seller, what you can say is, hey, how are you kind of vetting the people who come through the door? And they might say, oh, I just look at their pre-approval. Well, are you sure it's a good bank? You sure the bank will own the building? Like, you can ask questions about that. And what you can say is, you know what, listen, let me connect you with Doug. He's going to make some mortgage affordability sheets. And they're going to be like, why are you doing this? Well, again, if someone needs to get a loan and if they're not pre-approved, Doug might get a client out of this, right? And I'm going to be co-branded on this affordability sheet too. So in case they need a broker down the road, maybe they'll use me, right? And so offering these things that come at little to no cost to us can help build a relationship. And most people don't do this. Again, most people go in, hey, you've been on the market for 3 weeks, you have no offers, give me the exclusive listing, right? Don't do that. I don't think that works. And think about it. Most people who are trying to sell on their own have probably owned for some time. Maybe they're investors, who knows what they are, but they're going to be getting calls from hundreds of brokers or dozens of brokers, at least in the neighborhood, trying to get the listing. So don't be that person, right? Do something else, give them items of value that come at little to no cost to you, and you're going to help build that. The next thing you can do is offer to host open houses or virtual open houses for them, right? Tell them about your marketing program, what you would do if it was your exclusive, and offer to do that for them without actually having the exclusive. Other things that we can do that most other people don't are we can send the email, right? Think of the power of the MyWeichert system, right? Hey, what I can do is I can take this and blast it to 8,000 people who live in your neighborhood, right? Let me show you how I do this and show them Cole Realty, how many people. Would you be okay if I sent this out? And they're going to be like, yes, right? I can't imagine someone who's going to say no to that. And again, think about it. Maybe you get direct buyers off of it. Maybe you get some other listings. Maybe you get a buyer for that one. And because they came through you, maybe that seller is going to pay you a commission. So think of all the things that you can do to actually help build that relationship with them. And if they ever ask, why are you doing this? I want to help you sell this on your own. I want to help you do it quicker, right? Because I know you're looking and maybe they're looking to buy something bigger and they'll use you as a buyer's agent. Who knows, right? There are many opportunities that come through this. And not enough people really try to do this in order to help people sell it on their own. Again, you can continue the relationship, right? You can also ask if potentially, and again, this especially works if they're willing to pay a buyer's agent compensation. Say, we would love to be able to advertise this on all the real estate websites, right? Where do you have this posted now? Oh, I have it on StreetEasy. That's it. Okay, StreetEasy is a great site. You're probably going to get people. But what if we could get you more exposure and you would pay that same percentage, right? If you're willing to pay 3%, I'm willing to take 1.5%, and I can list it on the MLS and get you someone who would bring a buyer for 1.5%, and then you've gotten more exposure. Is that something I can do for you, right? And we can sign a right to advertise, right? You can tell them I'll get it on MyWeichert, I'll go on the MLS, I'll get it on StreetEasy, Zillow, Realtor, all these different sites that you might not have it on. Would that work for you? And you can come to terms with them, right? Again, that allows you to send out mass emails on the property, allows you to get it on the MLS, maybe get direct buyers, maybe co-broke it, who knows? But it's giving you an opportunity that you didn't have before. Again, once you've built that relationship, you can also ask for a limited exclusive. Maybe they'll give you 10 days, maybe they'll give you 2 weeks. You can host some open houses, get more people in. You can market the property with sending out mass emails. You can send out postcards. If you do have a kind of short exclusive period, again, ask as you go down the road, right? The first conversation is just getting to know them. The second conversation is, hey, can I take photos for you? And again, think about it. Let's say you meet with them, they agree to have you take photos. You come with a photographer, they do a great job. You get show sheets out of it. You get Doug's affordability sheet, right? All of these things, you're building value to them and you're really building up that relationship. Sell the property, right? That's the end goal, is for you to find the buyer for it. Maybe it doesn't work out, but at least you've given service to them. You've got maybe some direct buyers that came out of it, right? There are lots of ways that you can actually help to get that relationship built. So one of the questions that we often get is, how can you sell my house better than I can, right? How can you sell my apartment better than I can? So number one is that we will market the property with more exposure to all buyers, right? Where are you advertising? Oh, I'm on X, Y, and Z websites. Well, we'll get on X, Y, and Z plus all these other ones, right? We also capture internet buyers from over 400 different websites. We'll advertise on broker-only sites like Weichert, OLR, Realtor.com. We'll create professional marketing material, right? Sometimes people don't have any show sheet whatsoever, right? You make them professional show sheets, again, $60, great. Someone's going to remember that property more. We can pre-qualify anyone who steps into the apartment with Doug. We have a knowledge of the condo and co-op process and of boards and things like that. So we can really help them get through everything. So they have that power from Doug, and the fact that Doug can help pre-approve anyone who comes through. He can check, on the pre-approval that someone else is providing if they are putting in an offer. If it's a co-op, we know and we have a better sense of what the co-op board might want, right? We use the revenue financial statement to get information about people, and again, maybe they don't even know to ask for that. The other thing, and this is one of the biggest ones when we're talking to for sale by owners, is that we can negotiate terms and conditions without emotions, right? A seller has a really kind of invested relationship with that property. Maybe they live there for 5 years, 10 years, 50 years, who knows, right? And so, oftentimes someone will not say the right thing to someone and they'll blow up the deal, right? We kind of act as a buffer between the buyer and the seller to make sure that all these things can be negotiated without too many emotions coming into everything. So again, really the list of what to do is to offer, to go in and offer for the people to help them sell it on their own, right? You see the apartment, you ask key questions, you give them helpful information, right? Offer to pay for photos, floor plans, video, 3D tour, whatever it is. Again, I usually start with photos and floor plans. You can offer them the mortgage affordability sheet from Doug and Weichert Financial. You can offer to make show sheets from the design center, right? And get your name out there to some direct buyers maybe. Offer to help them with marketing through emailing and postcards. You can offer to put it on broker only websites. You can offer to host open houses or virtual open houses. And then you can offer to take over the marketing, right? And again, all of these things that you do help you build that relationship of trust with you and this potential seller. So I'm just gonna kind of close this for a second. And I just wanna show you kind of where we can find out some of this information about people who are looking to sell on their own, right? So let's go to Brooklyn. I'm gonna go to 11231 on Zillow, right? And on Zillow, what we can do, oops, and I have this undersold. So I'm gonna go to for sale, and here over for sale, there's gonna be a little toggle button. I can do for sale by owner only, right? And I'm gonna hit done. Okay, so in Redhook, there is nothing for sale by owner. I'm gonna remove this boundary. That's the third button there, yeah, if you don't mind, thank you. So again, here's what we can do. We can kind of look on this list and we can see a couple properties that are for sale by owner, right? So I'm gonna click on one, this one here in South Slope. And let's hope it opens. Maybe not. Smaller, see if that works better. Zillow's being very slow today. Let's try the other one. There we go. So here we go. So for sale by owner, information, or if we click on get more information, we can send a message to the owner saying that we want more information, right? And hey, I'm a broker, I'd love to come preview it, whatever it is. Sometimes on here, there'll be phone numbers. Let me go to one, see if there's any in Manhattan. See this one in FiDi. Sometimes there'll be a phone number on here. Right now, there's not. A couple others. Oftentimes you'll find a phone number, but again, in the worst case, you have the address and stuff like that, and you can always send them a postcard. You can see if they're having an open house. These are all coming out from StreetEasy. So let me try StreetEasy. Let me just put in this address on StreetEasy. 425 East 13th, 4B. StreetEasy, you can't actually search for sale by owner, but you can kind of click through and try to find them. Here we go, 4B. So owner. You can contact the owner, right? And you can send them an email. There's no way to directly search for sale by owner on StreetEasy, but you can on Zillow. So it makes it a little bit easier because the two are linked now. So again, you can kind of click through, just try to see what's going on, contact people. Sometimes there's a phone number in there, sometimes there's not. again, you can send a postcard to them. You can send a handwritten note to them. You can click on get more information. You could do it here and on Street Easy, but you're likely to find a couple of them who might have, phone numbers and stuff like that on it. So you can actually call them or see if they're having an open house and go to the open house, right? So these ones don't have any phone numbers in them, but again, kind of looking around on here is a great way to do this, right? And again, no matter where you find them, the process is the same, right? You want to get into a relationship with them. Here you go. This one's having an open house Saturday from 11 to 4. So maybe you stop by the open house and say, hey, Anthony with Weichert, how are you doing today? Great. Just wanted to see, are you paying a broker a commission? How are you doing this? Check out the photos, right? These are pretty bad, right? It's a nice apartment, bad photos. The floor plan's awful, right? So, hey, I'd love to help you out. Have you thought about doing professional photos and floor plans? No? Oh, I'd love to provide them for you, right? Why are you going to do that? Well, because I think I can help you sell this property on your own. All I ask is that you refer me to friends and family looking to sell. Would that work for you? And that really can help you. So use these tools to actually go after these people, right? These are already people. Think of how easy, and again, the process is not easy, but think of how much easier this is than blind prospecting, right? These are people that we know want to sell their property. It's already on the market. It's just about you building up that relationship with them to help them or to get into a relationship where then you can help them actually sell it. So this is how we go after for sale by owner. So we're going to go on to the next part of the presentation where we're going to talk about expired listings, right? And what is an expired listing, right? An expired listing is a listing that has exceeded their listing period with another broker, and they're kind of up for grabs now. When you're searching through OLR, you'll have two different terms for expired listings. One is TOM, which means temporarily off market. Those ones we should kind of wait on because usually that means, maybe it was listed for a month or two, it came off the market and it's going to be coming back on with that same broker. They still might have an exclusive. POM means permanently off market, right? And that means that the listing agreement's ended. It's not being relisted by that broker. You can kind of go after with really not too many issues. And again, what we want to do is search in OLR for these, right? And so I did a little screenshot. I'm sorry, it's blurry. In OLR sales search, you want to set the checkbox to off market, right? So under status here, I'm sorry, you can barely read this, but I'll show you this live in a second. There's going to be one for off market. You can also click expired. I just pick off market because it's going to show more things. And then here under set, show listings from, and you want to up this, right? Usually default, it's either 30 or 90 days. You want to show listings from 360 days, right? Because then we can see what's come off the market in the last year. And again, I'm going to go into OLR and just show you exactly how I do this. So similar to how you would do a property search, I'm going to go into search, listings, Manhattan. I'm going to pick sales, right? I'm going to scroll down. And again, here under status, I'm just going to check off market. I'm going to uncheck everything else. And under show listings from, I'm going to pick 360. So let's just pick Soho where we are now. I'm going to do a general property search, 1 to 10 million. I'm going to run the search. So here we're going to get a bunch of different things, right? 22 Worcester Street, Penthouse End, permanently off market. 83 Spring Street, permanently off market, right? So these are all ones that you can potentially go after, right? Because these came off the market. Again, if it says temporarily off market, you probably don't want to, but anything that's permanently off market, you can go for. Now, again, one thing to remember is that oftentimes things will have been taken off the market by the sponsor or the sponsor's agent, right? So in this case, Greenwich West Sales Office, Corcoran, you probably don't want to call on that one, right? But any of the actual resale apartments you can go after. And so again, here in Soho, we have 124 things that came off the market, right? And again, different price points, different areas. Again, some of these are going to be this, again, Greenwich West Sales Office. If it says sales office, or if it's like a new development, 110 Charlton, you want to probably avoid that. But we can go back through. Let's go to page 3 and just see what the most affordable ones were. 77 Mercer, off market. This is a commercial space. Here you go, 102 Thompson, right? Apartment 2, permanently off market. So this didn't sell, right? Nice apartment, 425. You know, for anyone who's kind of working downtown, this is actually a reasonable building on a good street. And so it's kind of weird that it didn't sell, right? It was listed last spring, so maybe that's why it wasn't kind of going through. So it was listed in March of last year. So this is an owner that you can potentially approach to see if you can help them, right? The listing has expired. Now, you know, the main question people are going to say is, where do I get a list of all these owners and their contact information? Well, it's not that easy, unfortunately, right? If it was, everyone would be doing it. So what can you do? So number one, you can write a handwritten note and send it to the building, right? Many times they're owner occupied and you'll get the owner. Number two is you can go into Cole Realty, search the street and see if you can find the property and stuff like that for what's going on. Number four, you can use, you know, whois.com. There's a number of different websites, Yellow Pages, whatever it is, to try to find the contact information for that potential owner. You know, maybe a phone number, maybe an email, maybe whatever it is, right? So it does take a little more legwork than these for sale by owners, but it can pay off, right? And I was working with an agent, you know, they were saying, oh, I'm not having any luck with this. I looked up one property, they called them and they got an appointment to go see it. So it does happen, right? You need to take the time to kind of go through these and be organized, right? You might not get a call or a response on the first call, but you will be able to find out information. So what do we do when we actually find these, right? And when we get in touch with you, right? So again, how do we find the information? Use Cole Realty, Street Easy, Property Shark to get the owner information, reach out. Again, call them, set up an appointment to go see it, build rapport, right? They're usually going to vent about their last broker. Oh, you know, Anthony was the worst broker I've ever had to deal with in my life, right? He didn't do anything. He told me he was going to have open houses. You know, he only showed it twice. It wasn't on any websites, yada, yada, right? Let them vent and say, and again, don't trash talk anyone or don't kind of talk down about anyone, but you say, well, I'm really sorry. That's not how I would have done it. I would have done X, Y, and Z, right? You want to set expectations with them about how we are different, how Weichert is different, right? And how we can help them get it sold, right? Maybe the market's improved. Maybe inventory is down in the neighborhood where it was higher before. Maybe they weren't going about it the right way and marketing it correctly, right? What we can do is we can offer a short exclusive to start and really follow the for sale by owner guidelines, right? And keep at it. You know, someone's not going to give you the listing just because you called them. And don't tell them you have a buyer for it if you don't actually have a buyer. But if you do have a buyer, that's an even better way to get in the door, right? It takes building the relationship. It takes multiple connections with the people for them to really feel comfortable with you. And again, if you're a newer agent, you're not great at getting exclusives yet, or you haven't gone after a listing yet, pair up with one of our experienced agents, right? You know, I can use an example. Zach did a mass email. He got a listing appointment in Astoria. It never sold anything before. He paired up with Peter. They went, they got the listing. They now have an exclusive for a building for sale in Astoria, right? And so if you're not comfortable doing the listing presentation, if you're not at a point where you feel like you can do it on your own, pair up with someone, right? It's the best way to learn. That's how I learned in this business, by working with people like Suzanne and Eunice. We have so many people who are really experienced and who can help you get the listing if you're new. And you can learn the whole process of getting a listing by working with them. So one of the things that you always want to do and be prepared for is what's happening with the other agent and what went wrong, right? You know, they're going to have different pain points of what happened before, and we have customized solutions, or you can customize solutions for them, right? So what is it marketing, right? Oh, you know, the agent just put it online and didn't do anything, right? Well, what is our marketing solution? What can we do to help market a property more than someone else can? And again, this is a question for you guys. What do we do differently to market properties? Anthony, you want to answer?
Well, we could, well, not only post it on Street Easy, you know, we also would have it on over 400 different websites. We will send out emails to neighborhoods. Everyone in the neighborhood, we could use our Cole Realty database. We can tell everyone on our team in our office that may know somebody. We have contacts all over the city. So, you know,
Perfect.
There's various things we could do.
That's great. And again, that's great, right? You know, was it reach, right? And again, many firms who are based in New York City, and I always use this as my spiel, right? Weichert is the biggest boutique firm in the city, right? You get the personal service and attention that you would at a boutique firm, but you know, we have about 100 agents in New York, and we have about 14,000 agents around the US, right? So we're not just New York, right? We're not just a New York firm. We're not just a Northeast firm, right? Even though we have about 6,000 agents in the Northeast from upstate New York down to Virginia. But we have 7,000 agents across 43 states, as well as the fact that we have, one of the largest relocation companies, and we're part of a global real estate company as well, which can then get the message out across the world even. So so that helps us with the reach, right? We can compete with, we have more agents across the US than a lot of these other big firms that are in the city do. Was it the price, right? How do we solve for price, right? Maybe they were asking too much. And so, we use Urban Digs and the analytics companies that we have to make sure that we're pricing it right. We're pricing it for the time frame that you're looking to sell in, right? Some people want to price high because they're in no rush. Some people want to price low to get a bidding war. Some people want to price right and get it sold in a short period of time. Again, there's all these different things. Maybe it was the agent. Oh, Anthony never returned my phone calls, right? So what do you can say that. I like to work with my sellers, and we'll have a, be it daily, every other day, weekly check-in. I'm going to give you all the stats from all the real estate websites. I'm going to let you know about all the appointments I had. And I call you immediately after any open house to tell you how many people came and what their response was, right? I follow up with every single broker that comes through the door with a client and every client that comes through the door directly. And I ask them for feedback, right? The most important thing we can get is consistent feedback about what's happening with the property and how this compares to other things on the market. And at the same time, I'm monitoring everything else on the market in your building, in the neighborhood. So we know where we are, right? We're better priced or we're a little overpriced, but everything else is going to contract. So we can expect an offer in the next couple of weeks. And again, open houses, right? Some people don't ever hold open houses, right? Or they hold an open house, they put it online and they never came, right? So what do we offer, right? We have an active open house. When we post an open house, we then blast it out to people who are looking in the neighborhood, right? We want to make sure everyone knows about the neighborhood. I use Cole Realty, like Anthony said, right? To send out this listing to thousands of people who live in your neighborhood and surrounding neighborhoods to try to actively get a buyer, right? I'm not just taking the listing, putting it up, letting people come to me. I'm going to people and bringing the listing to them, right? And these are all really, I think, effective ways of communicating with potential sellers how we are different than other companies. Again, the listing presentation is our amazing tool to help you get the listing, right? With a expired listing, you're probably going to have it ready when you meet with them the first time to kind of go over some of these things. But it helps show the value of working with you and with working with us here at Weichert Properties, right? It's all customizable with your bio, the photo property, the name of the owners and things like that. This is just a sample of the first page. We do these, if you aren't familiar with the listing presentation, review it, right? If you're going to be going after for a sub-owner and expireds, you have to be like very good at doing this presentation. And if you're not good, again, there are people, like Peter, like Leslie, like Eunice, like Suzanne, that are great at getting listings. And bring someone with you, work with someone on the listing to help you get it more effectively, right? Again, the first 10 listing presentation I went on, Suzanne and I always went together, right? And we had a good combination. Someone with a lot of experience and who knows the market well, with, again, me at the time, 14 years ago, someone who was brand new to the business, but really eager, knew how to use all the technology, knew how to get it marketed online and things like that, right? So find a foil for yourself. Find someone who kind of supplements you well with area experience, right? Maybe you're going after a listing in Astoria, you know nothing about Astoria. Take someone who sold there before, right? Take someone who lives there, who knows the neighborhood. Same thing, again, if you're working in Long Island, we have people who have houses out in Long Island so that they can help you with it as well, right? Pair yourself up, and if you need help finding someone to go with, just let me know and we can find someone. So again, our company-wide call sessions are a great time to do this, but use this time to set up appointments, right? Use the rest of this time, and we're done, in not too long, and this was kind of booked out as an hour, but you've got another 20 minutes or so, right? Go through and start putting together a list in the target neighborhoods that you're looking in of properties that you might want to go after, right? Or partner up with someone, right? This is the greatest thing. You can divide and conquer. Maybe one of you is really great on the phone, the other one's great with the databases. You can kind of work it out together. And again, if you need someone to go with you, we have experienced agents who are willing to work with you, to split the deal with you, to work on a partner up agreement, whatever it is. But this will really help you get listings faster. That's it for me. What kinds of questions do you guys have?
What do you ask for in return? Do we ask for like you mentioned that maybe you want to start off with like a short-term exclusive. And what percentage are we going to ask for?
5 or 6%. 6% to start and go down from there. And I mean, the good thing with the expireds is that we can see in the database what they were listing it with before. And so you know that they're kind of comfortable with that number. You know, don't undercut yourself, right? We all do the service of a full service firm, and our kind of company standard is 6%. So that's what we go after first. And if they balk at that, you know, we can talk about it. You can put it off on me. Hey, I got to talk to my manager. We can kind of work out where to go.
So how do we bring it up, say for that expired listing that was in Soho, for example?
Yeah.
We get the person on the phone, we tell them,
you go see the property, right? So you never talk about commission over the phone. You don't talk about the commission until you do the listing presentation and you get to the end of it and you show them everything you're going to do, and then you talk about commission. So
okay, so there's not like you're not trying to close over the phone, you're not trying to mention anything.
No, you need to meet with them, right? It's all about building the relationship. You never want to.
So you're closing for a meeting.
You're closing for a meeting. You're going to meet with them. You're talking to them. You know, you're giving yourself time to do the comps, to see the property. You know, maybe there's some like gaping hole in the floor that they never fixed and it's not in the pictures. Hey, why don't we get a contractor in here to fix the hole? And you know, those little things can help you, you know, really see it. And that's why you need to see the property, meet them face to face. It's the best way to kind of build a relationship.
Okay.
Any questions or?
Yeah, I wanted to know what is the code.
I do.
Oh, hold on, Maria.
Hi, how are you?
So give me 1 second, because sorry, Vinny just asked about Cole Realty, and I'll just kind of pull that up quickly.
So that's how I was going to talk about it.
Okay, so from, let me share my screen again. So again, from Weichert 1, which you guys all have access to, if you go on the left side to associate information, and then to Cole Realty resource and click there. And I apologize for my super slow computer today. I think my Mac is on the way out, unfortunately. Hopefully this opens in a second.
Do you use Chrome on your Mac, Jason?
No, I use Firefox.
Oh, okay.
Here we go. Okay, I think it's just the internet slow today. Okay, so when you're here, here's Cole. And again, there's a bunch of videos of how to use this. I've also recorded a video of how to use it. It's on the YouTube channel. You always want to make sure this green one is checked off. On mine, it always is, but sometimes it's not. So just when you go in, just click on the green thing. I know you'll know if it's correct because it will say zip codes first, right? So you pick a zip code. I'm going to do the same one I did before, 11231, right? And I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom. And again, depending on what you're using this for, if you want to try to find the owner of a property, that's one thing. This is kind of the general search you would do for if you wanted to send like a mass email, like we mentioned before. I'd click on emailing, hit search. And what this is going to do is it's going to give me a list of people in the 11231 zip code with name, potential address. And again, they're not always up to date, but it's good enough, and email address. And so then you can take these. So here's almost 5,000 people, right? And it's got some PO boxes, it's got some names, it's got some addresses, right? And so you get contact information for a number of people who live in this zip code. And you can download these. And again, I'm not going to go through all this now, but you can download this onto your computer, upload it into KV Core, and then send these mass emails to the people from that. If you're kind of doing some of like the expired searches and stuff like that, we can be a little bit different. What was the address? Okay, so let's say 10003. We want the street name, East 13th. Let's see what happens there. And they want all records. So we can try to see if we can find the person's name. That didn't work. We go back. It can be a little finicky sometimes, so it might not be the zip code. Let's do by neighborhood. 425 East 13th. New York. Let's do everything again. So here we go. So 5K, 1J, 4B is the one we're looking for. That may or may not be in here. It's a big condo, so. Okay, not everyone's going to be in here, but sometimes. Okay, so 4B is not in here. So in that case, that one, the one that I pulled up before is not in here. Again, there's other ways of getting this information. If you're a pro on StreetEasy, again, let's say we're looking for their name. I can click here and download owner list. So I'm a pro. I'm going to save the file. Let's open up the file. For B, here you go. Isa and Gina Yaffe. So what we can do is we can Google their name. We can try to find them, look up their cell phone number, whois.com. There's a bunch of different websites, white pages. You can start looking it up. And again, now I've got the whole list of the buildings, so I can try to start prospecting in this building generally, right? We know when they bought it. We know, their names. Some of these are going to be LLCs, obviously. A lot of times people in condos will put it in an LLC. 5C is in an LLC, but you can always reach out. Maria, you had a question? Maria? Maybe not. Did you have a question? Anyways, okay. So I think that's good. Again, you use a little bit of time today. Try to find some for sale by owners and see if you can go check them out this weekend or later this week. Same thing with expired listings, right? Especially if you have clients looking in a specific neighborhood, right? Maybe, again, Anthony, I know you've got someone looking for a 2-bedroom in Brooklyn. Maybe you do a search of condos in Brooklyn, 2 bedrooms in the price point, see what's expired, and then call those owners, right? Maybe you can get something off market for them. Hey, I'd love to bring a buyer by. Or I'd love to come preview it. I've got a buyer looking. Let me see if this could work for them. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. I'm going to stop the share and stop the recording.